I didn't recognize my own daughter at first. She was sitting in a mall food court, counting coins. Not for lunch, not for her child, just a small cup of coffee. The same girl I helped buy a luxury SUV for 2 years ago. The same woman who once had everything. And the man she trusted most was the reason her life quietly collapsed. Stay with me, what I discovered will shock you. Hi, my name is Margaret Lewis, and I'm a retired real estate attorney. Today, I'm sharing the true story of my daughter, Sophia, and how I accidentally uncovered the hidden truth behind her seemingly perfect life. If you believe that love should never cost your freedom, this story is for you. Make sure to subscribe and click the bell, so you don't miss any part of this emotional journey. I spotted her by accident. I had gone to the mall to return a pair of shoes. And there she was, my daughter, Sophia. Her sneakers were worn thin. Her grocery store uniform hung loosely on her frame. The name tag barely clung to the fabric. She kept her eyes down, counting coins. Again. And again. I walked closer, heart racing. Sophia? She looked up, and in that moment, my heart sank. Dark circles under her eyes. Hands trembling slightly. A flash of fear before she tried to smile. Hi, Mom. Emma's with Richard and his mother, she said. They're taking her to the park. I slid into the seat across from her. Where's your car? The Highlander I helped you get? Sophia's smile faltered. She looked toward the mall entrance. Richard needed it for work. His truck broke down last month, she said, voice calm but distant. I tried to keep my voice calm, but a cold knot settled in my stomach. So, what have you been driving? The bus. It's fine, Mom. Really, saves on gas money. I looked at her, really looked at her. The weight she had lost. The loose uniform. The way she kept glancing at her phone like she was waiting for something, or someone. I reached across the table, taking her hand. The weight she had lost. The loose uniform. The way she kept glancing at her phone like she was waiting for something, or someone. I reached across the table, taking her hand. It was ice cold despite the warm California afternoon. Tell me what's happening, Sophia. She pulled her hand back. Nothing's happening, everything's fine. I need to go soon. Richard said he'd call when they're done at the park. Her eyes pleaded silently, please don't push me. And I knew. I had to. I followed Sophia's story quietly as she walked toward the bus stop. I couldn't stop thinking about the SUV I had helped her buy. The same car she used to drive everywhere, the same vehicle that once symbolized her independence. Now gone. Richard needed it for work, she had said. I watched her lift her worn backpack onto her shoulder. She looked small. Vulnerable. Tired beyond words. As she waited for the bus, I noticed how often she checked her phone. Her thumb tapping nervously on the screen. It wasn't just habit. She was waiting. Waiting for someone to tell her it was okay, waiting for permission to breathe. The bus arrived. I saw her hesitate before stepping in. I wanted to tell her to come back to the car, to forget the bus. But something in her expression stopped me. A silent warning, Mom, please don't interfere. She stepped onto the bus, and the doors closed with a soft thud. I followed silently in my car, keeping my distance, my mind racing. Who was controlling her life? What had happened behind closed doors? Inside the bus, Sophia sat by the window. Her hands folded in her lap, trembling slightly. She stared outside, at the passing streets, the sunny California afternoon. But her mind was somewhere else entirely. I imagined her thoughts. If I'm late, if he finds out I missed something, if I upset him, what will happen? Her life had become a series of rules, hidden tasks, and fear. All dictated by the man she trusted. The bus rumbled on. Other passengers chatted, laughed, ignored her. She blended in perfectly. Invisible. And I realized, she wasn't just tired. She was being controlled. The bus stopped near a small strip mall. Sophia stepped off, glancing nervously over her shoulder. She walked quickly toward a nondescript office building, where she worked a second job, cleaning offices after regular hours. I followed silently, heart in my throat. The woman I knew, my daughter, once proud and independent, now hiding in plain sight, afraid of her own husband. Inside, she changed into her work clothes, simple, worn, practical. No one knew what she did here. No one knew she was silently sacrificing her own health, her own life, just to survive. I sat in my car, watching her disappear into the building. My mind raced. How did it come to this? How could someone so strong, so capable, be trapped in silence? I knew one thing. I had to find out everything before it was too late. Later that evening, Sophia called me briefly. "Mom, don't worry about me. I'm fine." Her voice was calm, almost cheerful, but I heard the tremor underneath. The hesitation. The fear. I whispered to myself. "No, you're not fine. And I will prove it." Sophia's life had become a delicate balance of fear and survival. By day, she worked as a nurse at the hospital, long shifts, patients relying on her care. By night, she cleaned offices in a small strip mall, a job she never told anyone about. Her hands were raw from scrubbing floors. Her uniform hung loosely, threadbare at the edges. Her face reflected exhaustion beyond words, dark circles telling a story her lips refused to speak. If Richard knew about this second job, Emma would be taken away. I have to be careful. She moved silently, trying not to attract attention, trying not to draw anyone's gaze. Each task was mechanical, robotic. Every sweep of the mop, every emptying of the trash cans, a step in a routine of quiet survival. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from Richard. "Did you pick up Emma's homework?" Sophia froze. Her thumb hovered over the screen. I can't tell him about this job. If he finds out. The thought made her chest tighten. She swallowed hard, forcing a smile as if replying cheerfully. "Yes, Richard. Everything is fine." Inside, she was trembling. She had mastered the art of hiding, of smiling through fear, of pretending life was fine. Earlier that day, Sophia had tended to patients with her usual professionalism. But every moment she felt Richard's shadow looming, in texts, calls, even in her imagination. She counted the minutes until her shift ended, so she could catch the bus and begin the second job. The hospital hallway echoed with footsteps, machines beeped softly, and Sophia's heart beat a little faster with every notification from her phone. He thinks I'm resting. He doesn't know. Sophia paused for a moment, thinking of Emma. Her 4-year-old daughter, innocent and bright. Completely unaware of the silent chain Sophia carried. I'm doing this for her. I have to survive. I have to protect her. A wave of guilt hit her. Her shoulders slumped, the mop trembling slightly in her hands. The tears she had been holding back now threatened to fall. The office door clicked. Sophia froze. A janitor she didn't recognize stepped in. "You're working late again, huh?" Sophia nodded, forcing a calm tone. Her pulse raced. Every sound felt magnified. Every shadow seemed like Richard lurking in the corner. She whispered to herself. I can't let anyone see. I can't let him know. I can't lose Emma. underscore 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 underscore. The second job done, Sophia stepped out, exhausted. The streets were quieter now, dim streetlights casting long shadows. She waited for the bus, shoulders hunched, backpack clutched tightly. Inside the bus, she stared at the floor. A soft sigh escaped her lips. 2 jobs. Hidden life. Silent suffering. The bus rumbled along. She glanced at her phone again. No new messages from Richard. For now, she was safe. But for how long? I sat in my car across the street, my hands gripping the steering wheel. Watching her walk into the office, seeing her move silently through the streets. My heart ached. This is my daughter, working herself to the bone, hiding from the man she trusted most. I have to find out the truth, before it's too late. I knew that the answers lay somewhere in Richard's control, his secrets, and the web of lies he had spun. And I was determined to uncover them. I couldn't stop thinking about Sophia's hidden life. 2 jobs, exhausted, always afraid. And all the while, her husband Richard controlled everything. Something was wrong. I could feel it. I decided to hire a private investigator, someone who could dig into Richard's life without alerting him. The PI started quietly, checking bank statements, emails, and public records. It didn't take long before the first red flags appeared. Unauthorized loans in Sophia's name. Large sums disappearing from joint accounts. Suspicious credit charges. It was a pattern of financial abuse, deliberate, calculated, and cruel. Margaret, the PI said cautiously over the phone. He's hiding a lot, and it's worse than you think. My heart sank. How could he do this to his own wife? To my daughter? The investigation revealed something even more shocking. Diane, Richard's mother, was complicit. She had access to Sophia's accounts. She had coached Richard on keeping Sophia under control. Every small act of independence by Sophia was reported back to him. It was a conspiracy within the family, a web of manipulation and control. I sat at my desk, going through pages of evidence. This is my daughter's life, stolen piece by piece, under the guise of love. I felt a mix of rage, sadness, and determination. She was strong. But she had no idea how close she was to being completely trapped. I needed a plan. A way to protect Sophia and Emma, and expose Richard before it was too late. Gather evidence for the court. Keep Sophia unaware, for her safety. Document every transaction, every secret message. We're going to need everything, I told the PI. Every detail. Every lie. Every hidden account. It was going to be dangerous. But Sophia's life depended on it. Sophia continued her routine, completely unaware of the investigation. Hospital shifts, bus rides, cleaning jobs. Constant anxiety about Richard discovering her secrets. The small victories of surviving another day. Her life was a tightrope walk between fear and survival. And every step I uncovered made me more determined to save her. Typing, papers shuffling, low suspenseful music. Brief pause after each revelation for dramatic tension. Emphasize Richard's hidden control, mother-in-law's conspiracy, and Sophia's innocence. I realized then, the only way to protect my daughter was to confront the truth head-on. The day had finally come. The evidence, painstakingly gathered over weeks, was ready. Every secret Richard had tried to hide, every manipulation, every financial abuse, laid bare. I looked at Sophia. Her hands were shaking, and her eyes were wide with fear. She had no idea how close we were to taking back her life. "Mom, what if something goes wrong?" Her voice trembled. "Sophia," I said softly, "you survived this far. You're stronger than you know. And today, we fight for your freedom." Underscore 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 underscore. We arrived at the courtroom. Richard and Diane were there, confident and smug, unaware of the storm coming their way. The judge entered. The room fell silent. I handed over the evidence files to the court. "Your Honor, this is what my daughter has endured," I explained, my voice steady but full of emotion. "Financial abuse, manipulation, and control, all hidden under the guise of marriage." Sophia sat quietly, tears brimming. Her eyes glanced at me, a mix of fear, relief, and hope. When the court reviewed the documents, Richard shifted nervously. Every text, every transaction, every lie, revealed. Sophia finally spoke. I couldn't. I was scared. I didn't want to lose my daughter. I didn't want to make him angry. I just wanted to survive." Her voice cracked. Tears ran down her cheeks. I reached out, holding her hand tightly. "You're safe now, sweetheart. You did nothing wrong." The courtroom atmosphere changed. Silence fell over the room. Richard's smirk disappeared. Diane looked shocked. After hours of testimonies, the judge finally ruled. Sophia regained custody of Emma. She was free from Richard's control. We walked out of the courtroom together. I could feel the weight lifting off Sophia's shoulders. "Thank you, Mom," she whispered, hugging me tightly. I don't know what I would have done without you. You are my daughter." "I'll always fight for you," I replied, my voice full of love and relief. Underscore 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 underscore. As we stepped into the sunlight, I looked at Sophia. She was exhausted, but a glimmer of hope shone in her eyes. She was finally free to breathe, to live, to be a mother and a woman without fear. This was the moment where silence was broken, and truth triumphed over control. The court ruling was final. Sophia's freedom was restored. Custody of Emma was officially hers. The chains of fear and manipulation Richard had imposed were broken. "Mom, we did it," Sophia whispered, holding Emma close. Tears ran freely now, not from fear, but relief. We walked out of the courthouse. Sunlight fell on Sophia's face. Her shoulders, once tense, now relaxed. Back at home, Sophia prepared a small breakfast for Emma. Pancakes for her daughter. Coffee for herself. Quiet laughter filled the kitchen for the first time in months. No one watching, no one controlling, just life, simple and free. Sophia told me about her plans. To return to nursing, full-time, without fear. To rebuild her life and savings. To teach Emma about strength, resilience, and honesty. "I feel like I can finally breathe," she said, looking at Emma's bright eyes. Richard had no control left. His confidence shattered. He realized that manipulation and secrecy have consequences. Diane, too, saw that aiding control and abuse comes at a cost. But for Sophia, their reactions no longer mattered. Her life, her daughter, her freedom, restored. I held Sophia's hand, looking at both mother and daughter. She is strong, stronger than I ever imagined. And now, she knows that love should never isolate or control. And if you're a parent, look closely. Ask twice. Listen carefully. Sometimes the truth is sitting alone in a food court, counting coins. If this story moved you, help it reach someone who needs it. Backhand index pointing right, like this video. Backhand index pointing right, subscribe to this channel. Backhand index pointing right, share it with someone you care about. Because silence protects the wrong people. And awareness can save lives. Sophia and Emma walked hand in hand. The sunlight on their faces was brighter than any day before. Her life was hers again. Filled with hope, love, and freedom. Music fades, soft ambient sounds linger, emotional pause for reflection.